Wild game. Wild freaking game. We dropped some points at Q2. I'm a little indifferent about yesterday's game. What's up, everyone? My name is Ty Roeder, host of the Verde and Black Show here on YouTube with your in-depth look, analysis, and recap of all things Austin FC. Let's get right into the good, bad, and the ugly. Oh my goodness. 2-2 against Orlando City when they had 9 players on the field for about 20 minutes. What are we doing? All right, let's start from the beginning. First off, let's take a look at the lineup. All right. Interesting, we had Gallagher on the left, Lima on the right for our outside backs. Obviously, Pereira was back. I think we all knew that that was going to be the case. And then Owen Wolff getting his first start at home. A big performance. I thought he handled himself very well. I prefer Finley staying on the bench and maybe coming off the bench. I don't know if I'm putting Finley in the same realm as Rodney Redes, to be honest, right now. I would have been okay at least with where we were at. Maybe seeing Stroud. Finley's not getting it done for me, and until he proves otherwise, I think Wolff has deservedly shown that he can start for us. I'm not saying he's going to be a factor for a full 90 minutes. I definitely still think him coming off around the 60th minute makes sense, and whether that's Finley, Redes. Maybe Dominguez, who knows with that situation. I know that's kind of been back of mind the past couple of weeks. But yeah, I mean, within the first 2 minutes, Stuver, man, I don't know what you're doing. Granted, it happened early. We'll give him, he's been sharp all season. Obviously, he was out a couple of games, but it's just a really bad giveaway. That's completely on Stuver. Luckily, it was so early on that we had the rest of the game to try to fight back. So we go down 1-0. Just a really silly mistake from Stuver. It's not a trend, so I can't be too frustrated with them. It is frustrating. You give the ball away inside your own 18 like that. But he looked sharp for the rest of the game. Obviously, their second goal happened about 20 minutes later. So we're looking at being down 2-0 in 22 minutes, and that was kind of worrisome. I feel like coming back from 1-0 is definitely doable, but 2-0 is a mighty task, regardless if it's home or away. And I know we did that against DC United, but I don't think that's commonplace in soccer, MLS, even for Austin FC. You don't score 3 goals in 10 minutes very often. I think it was important for us to get a goal before half, and we didn't do that, which made the second half that much more important. You would hope that you would get an early goal, so that way, you weren't fighting 2 goals for a short period of time there. But once the second half started, actually, let me go back to the first half. We definitely looked like the better squad, I feel like. Orlando City wasn't really creating the chances. We were just giving the ball away, not really paying attention to where players were on the field. Pereira looked a little lost. I think this was probably one of his worst games in the Verde and Black. I don't know if it was just, him coming back and, he was trying to do too much. I also know that we played, what is this? I'm not making excuses, but we played 3 games in 7 days. We had the Galaxy game, and then we had LAFC, which was a incredible match. But coming off of that really high road win, coming back to Q2 Stadium, I think maybe some of the players either with tired legs or they just thought that they could roll in and be an easy task. Well, it definitely did not turn out to be that way. So going into the second half, we controlled a lot of the possession. I'm looking at the possession. We controlled 71% of the possession. We had 22 shots on goal. 5 shots on goal. To score only 2 goals, especially with 9 men. The second half was super exciting. Schlegel, he got that yellow card for a handball, and then probably a minute later, exact same issue. And yeah, so I mean, they're down a man. I believe that led to the second yellow led to Driussi's penalty kick, which, glad he put that away. I was kind of scared that when he put it right down the middle, especially against that Peruvian goalkeeper. But, that started the trend. I mean, they went down to 10 men with 60 minutes into the game. And, you'd think that, okay, it's 2-1. They have a red card. We have 30 minutes to score another goal and potentially win it. So, once they go down, obviously Gabrielson, I really hope it's not a serious injury. Keller looked sharp. I think he's a formidable sub. But then, the other subs, you have Kolmanich coming in, Jimenez coming in, Finley for Wolf. And then, after that red card, 9 minutes later, the guy, Araujo takes a swing at Ring, hits him where the sun don't shine. I think it was a red. I mean, he was trying to say that his body was, as he was turning, he was flinging his right foot, but it honestly looked like he kicked out at Ring. And regardless of how much contact he made, you just can't do that, especially with studs up. So I think that was a warranted red card. And so now we're looking 70th minute. They're down to 9 men. We're still down 2-1. You're thinking, okay, great. Let's get a goal here in the next 5 minutes, tie it up 2-2, and then go for the win, go for the jugular from there. Yeah, I'll do my player of the game. And honestly, I thought it was Jimenez. Jimenez looked incredibly sharp when he came on. He was delivering balls in. I mean, Kolmanich was also doing the same thing with his stellar left foot, but both of them, I mean, they provided that spark. Finley didn't do anything, and I'll even give it to Jite. He came on. I was extremely concerned. I understand maybe if it's tied, or I'm sorry, we're down 2-0, and they have full strength, and Jite comes in and just to see what he can do. But when we're trying to get the draw or even the win, Jite was not the person who I thought should come in. I would have liked to see Paredes. Obviously, Jite ends up scoring. It took to the 95th minute in stoppage time for Jite to score. He looked sharp when he came on, so I'll give him credit where credit is due. He definitely deserves to be in there. And I'm happy for him. He got the monkey off his back by scoring that goal. So happy the moose is loose. I know the commentators were saying that quite often. Just excited that we have another formidable individual who is looking to prove themselves, and he did so. So happy Musa was able to score. The unfortunate thing is it took until the 95th minute for us to get that second goal, and then from there, it's like, we got 3, maybe 4 more added minutes. The 7 minutes of extra time seemed like it should have been at least 10. The goalkeeper, every time, there was a goal kick in stoppage time, he was taking at least 30 to 45 seconds to kick it. And I don't know why it took like 4 times for the ref to give him a yellow, because you could clearly tell what he was doing. Granted, if the roles were reversed and Austin FC were leading, I would expect us to do the same thing, but I would also expect us to get a couple yellows, and it just felt like the ref was letting it go on, which led to their Orlando City SC goalie continuing to do so. So I think all in all, it was a disappointment. You go down 2-0, you claw your way back. You don't claw your way back until the 95th minute, and you play 20 minutes. 2 men up. They had 9 men, and we couldn't score. I mean, give Jite all the credit in the world, but had Jite not scored that, we probably would have lost, because there was not, there were opportunities, but nothing clinical. So I give a lot of credit to Orlando City. Clearly once they got that second red, they were parking the bus, and they should have. Even after that first red, they probably should have parked the bus, which they kind of did. But for Austin FC, with all the firepower that we have, having that 2-man advantage with 20 minutes, it's not like they got a second red and it was like the 88th minute. They got a second red in the 69th minute and we couldn't score. So that's frustrating. while I am frustrated, and we did not score when I thought we should have to win the game. It is a point. It is a point at home. I think things looked really bleak when we were down 2-0. So to be able to claw ourselves back into the game, it's just the frustrating aspect of being down 2-0 and then them getting two reds. You'd think MLS side is able to perform a little bit better. So we'll see moving forward. I think obviously now we're not top of the table with LAFC win, but that's okay. I don't think we should look at that. It's not necessarily important, I think, for us in FC. I think momentum is everything. So going to LA Galaxy next week could be a really big game, especially, they came into Q2 Stadium and beat us. So hopefully Gabrielson's not very hurt, and he'll be able to come back. If not, I think Keller will step in and fill in. I think the good thing with Keller is it's not as if he hasn't been playing or played this season. While yes, he hasn't seen a ton of minutes over probably the past 5 weeks. I think him getting into the LAFC game and then into this game really sets himself up to have a good showing if he starts. So it's not as if he's been riding the bench the entire season. He had those 2 early performances that he looked really sharp. So we'll see. I think going into the LA Galaxy game, obviously winning that game would be so ideal, walking away with 3 points, but I'll take a draw. I think we're at a point in the season where road victories are going to, come few and far between. And if we can get one, great, but I don't think we should expect road victories against some of the top clubs in MLS. And Pereira was so close to getting a yellow, and thankfully he didn't, because I believe he would have missed the LA Galaxy game and that we would have been into the same situation of Pereira, or I think Ring was on that yellow card as well. So can't have those guys missing. Valencia is a solid player coming in, but it's not the same. And I think we all know that. So looking forward to, the month of June. I think we got 3 games, and then July, I think, is supposed to be a heavier month. So looking forward to seeing y'all out at Q2 Stadium. The next home game might go to that World Cup. It's not a World Cup qualifier, excuse me, but that friendly U.S. match. So I'll see some of y'all out there. Otherwise, thank you for the support. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Listos.